Hello everyone, my name is Griffin and we are back with another reaction video. This time we are reacting to The Act Man. This one is called The Best and Worst Games of 2023. Now I've played a lot of games in my time. It makes me feel old saying that. I played a lot of games in the year of 2023. So let's see what the best and worst games of that year is in this video, shall we?
2023 will go down as one of the craziest and most entertaining years in gaming history. 2023 was a year of extremes. We reached new heights with Baldur's Gate 3, and we sunk to new lows with The Day Before, which has allowed
Oh god, I haven't really heard anything good about The Day Before.
scientists to discover a layer of Earth beneath the inner core. I don't even know how that's possible. As developers in the industry continue to push the boundaries of what is possible, other developers push the boundaries of what they can get away with. Baldur's Gate 3 and The Day Before are like our north and south poles. You can put every other game released this year in between these two. And as we move onwards into 2024, I thought it'd be fun to look back at every accomplishment in
By the way, for Baldur's Gate 3, best person to romance is Karlach. I don't care what anyone else says. She is best romance option. Fight me.
failure in the world of gaming. These are the best and worst games of 2023. Although our first topic isn't a video game, it is based on one. The Last of Us TV show premiered on HBO early this year.
I haven't seen
I knew
this.
the show was good because my parents, who haven't played video games since the NES, asked me if I had heard about it. The marketing must have been phenomenal if it could capture the attention of my parents.
You're a weird kid.
You're a weird kid.
Sounds like Sony managed to make a show based off a video game that appealed to a broader audience. I wonder how they did that. It couldn't possibly be as simple as faithfully adapting the incredible source material to a television format, right? Oh, interesting. Season 2 of the Halo TV show comes out in February.
I've heard a lot of horrible things about the Halo TV series. I mean, I refuse to watch it because of the person they have as, I think it's supposed to be Master Chief. I'm sorry, but if you were going to have Master Chief in a Halo TV series, he is not supposed to take off his helmet. He's not. Even if he does, his face is not supposed to be shown.
Don't know why I brought that up. Last of Us was amazing. Nominated for 24 Primetime Emmys, and it became one of the biggest shows in HBO history. That success is well earned, and The Last of Us demonstrates what can...
I actually still have yet to play The Last of Us. I want to. Currently, I don't have the... It's not in my budget to buy the game yet. But this does look like a good show to watch, so I might check it out.
be achieved when you properly adapt a beloved video game into a TV series. But the first major game release this year showed everyone why sometimes it's okay to have a silent protagonist.
I just move shit with my mind.
Perhaps our connection has somehow awoken some abilities.
I just moved shit with my mind.
I just keep hearing I.
I just move shit with my freaking mind! Yeah, okay, that is something I do now. I do magic, talk to sentient cuffs, kill jacked up beasts. You know what? I'll probably fly next.
Now you're just being ridiculous.
So like, let me get this straight. I'm like recording a video right now that I'm gonna post to my YouTube channel and people are gonna watch it. That's just like something I do now. Although the combat and traversal in Forspoken looked kind of cool, what's not cool is being subjected to nuclear levels of cringe every time the main character opens her mouth. Guess that's why they called it Forspoken. Because it should have been forbidden to have spoken dialogue this bad.
Yeah, I haven't really heard many good things at all about Forspoken. I wanted to give it a try because it looked good, but I haven't really seen many good reviews on the game at all.
Forspoken was lampooned and memed into oblivion, and that's pretty much all it's going to be remembered for. It's like the Morbius of video games. A lot of people
I actually enjoyed Morbius.
wanted to experience it just to know for themselves how bad it really was. This is one of those games where the content and videos made about it are more entertaining than the game itself.
That is something I do now. I do magic, talk to sentient cuffs, kill jacked up beasts.
After Forspoken's poor sales numbers, the studio behind the game, Luminous Productions, would shut down on May 1st, which is kind of sad, but at least we got the worst game of 2023 out of our system early, right?
No.
Right? It can't possibly get worse. Luckily, the very next day, a miracle occurred. An amazing, unique Xbox exclusive was announced during the Xbox Bethesda showcase, and
I've heard a lot of good things about this, but I have not played it.
then it was released on the same day?
I don't believe it!
I give Hi-Fi Rush the most pleasant surprise award, because it's pretty shocking that an action rhythm game would have mainstream appeal, especially after the rhythm genre got milked to death in the late 2000s and everyone got fucking sick of it.
I like Guitar Hero. I wish it would be ported over to the PC so I can play it again.
It is somewhat interesting that the protagonists and trailers for Hi-Fi Rush and Forspoken are similar, because they're both trying to sell you a main character with attitude. So why does Hi-Fi Rush get critical acclaim and Forspoken becomes a laughingstock? Well, making a good video game has something to do with it, but it's also because Chai is much more likable and he's not constantly trying to tell us how cool he is. Hi-Fi Rush has a similar art style to games like Jet Set Radio Future and Beautiful Joe. It's a visual style that, if done right, will look good for decades. It was nominated for 5 different categories at the Game Awards, and I'm happy it earned at least one. Titles like Hi-Fi Rush that are this unique deserve to succeed and be celebrated. The day after Hi-Fi Rush came out, we got what is arguably the best indie title of 2023, Pizza Tower. Made as a love letter for fans of the Wario Land series, Pizza Tower successfully captures the identity of those games. It acts as an unofficial spiritual successor. Nintendo hasn't made a Wario Land type game since 2008, so this has filled a market that Nintendo hasn't been willing to tap. Pizza Tower was nominated for Best Indie Game Debut, but lost to Cocoon. Still, that's one hell of a debut. With 98% positive reviews on Steam,
Wow.
It's nice to see indie titles like this get the praise and recognition they deserve. I don't know why, but this week in January was just fucking loaded with games to talk about. The day after Pizza Tower came something I've wanted for years, a Dead Space remake.
Yes. Yes. Dead Space remake was the shit. It is how a remake should be done.
And thank the marker, this did not disappoint. Well, the only disappointment was the story, which I felt the dialogue and delivery were not as strong as the original, but everything else was an upgrade. This was my ideal kind of remake. One that keeps all of the best parts, but expands on it and takes liberties to give us more of what we loved. The changes to Zero G were awesome, as were the new areas and changes to the trans system, which unlike the original didn't lock you into one area throughout a level. For any games in this list that I made a video on, you could check the description if you want to hear more.
Yeah, Dead Space was fucking awesome. It kept everything from the original story. It changed it a little bit, but added more excitement to it. And then they added side quests or side stories where you can learn more about what was going on with Nicole, with the regenerator and how that came to be. And all this stuff, the graphics were wonderful. I had like nothing bad to say about the Dead Space remake. That is one of the games I use as a standard for how a remake should be done. Because we've gotten a lot of remakes and not a lot of them were really good at all.
Would you like to know more? The first Dead Space is a masterpiece, and luckily, so is the remake.
Yes.
2023 was a pretty good year for remakes and remasters, and Nintendo finally decided to remaster the 10th highest rated game of all time on Metacritic, Metroid Prime. I'm still kind of shocked that a Metroid game is held in such high regard despite its relative obscurity compared to other Nintendo IPs, and although the price tag might be a little questionable, this remaster was long overdue. Now if they remake Metroid Fusion, I'm gonna shit my pants. Oh boy, this was easily the most controversial game released this year. Hogwarts Legacy. What's life without a little...
Oh my god, the amount of shit this came with. I don't... Despite what's-her-schnuts name that is connected to this game, I don't understand why people had to make such a fuss about it. It's a game. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. Stop fucking complaining about it. It's just a fucking game. Who cares if what's-her-schnuts' name is connected to it? Who gives a shit? It's a game.
drama, right? Hogwarts Legacy sparked a massive boycott because some people don't like what J.K. Rowling has been saying recently, and because we have no concept of game development, well, let's throw all the developers under the same bus and just assume they think and believe all the things that she does. It baffles me that some people are incapable of separating art from the artist. You can absolutely disagree with everything J.K. has been saying and still enjoy Hogwarts Legacy
Exactly.
for what it is. The whole boycott illustrated that external politics in the real world should not invade the process of reviewing a game based on its own merits.
Here's the thing. When it comes to politics, religion, wokeness, and all this stuff, that should not be involved in a video game. It should not. It should be kept out of it. Enjoy the game for what it is. If you think it has bad gameplay, bad storytelling, bad graphics, fine, say so. You have to learn to separate the artist from the art. You can't just hate the game because J.K. Rowling's name is connected to it. Who gives a shit? If the game is bad, the game is bad. If the game is good, the game is good. Who fucking cares if J.K. Rowling's name is connected to it because it's fucking a Harry Potter world? Who gives a shit?
This boycott backfired spectacularly, inadvertently giving the game more press and attention, making it one of the most successful titles released this year. For fans of Harry Potter, it was pretty much a dream come true.
I did play a little bit of it, but it was just eh. To me, it was just okay, but it wasn't one. It didn't capture my attention enough to want me to keep playing it to the end. So I played it for a little bit on stream, and then I just haven't really touched it ever again because it was just kind of boring to me.
Aside from all those movie tie-in games, which were a coin flip if they'd be good or dog shit, this was the first time people had a chance to really immerse themselves in the world of Harry Potter and in Hogwarts, to explore all the memorable, iconic locations from the films and the books, to fly around an open world RPG on a broom. I mean, what more could you ask for? It was pretty magical. Hogwarts Legacy made a shitload of money and broke records for most watched single-player game on Twitch of all time, selling over 15 million copies and earning more than $1 billion. Hogwarts Legacy proves that the world of Harry Potter still resonates with people, even 16 years after the last book came out. 2023 would be the comeback year for many games people had previously given up on. Halo Infinite is a good example. It has made a startling comeback ever since the old leadership was axed and removed from 343. And now the game is getting consistent updates that are substantial and really good. They even added Firefight, man. I mean, that's bravo.
Ooh, Firefight. I'll have to get into that. I liked Firefight.
I'm glad I gave Halo Infinite another shot, and I think it deserved a nomination at the Game Awards for either Best Ongoing or Best Community Support. Like, how the fuck did Destiny 2 get a nomination? Bungie has been imploding recently. Things are looking up for Halo.
When it comes to Destiny 2, with the entire community, it is a love-hate relationship. We love to play it, but we also hate to play it. It's just how it is when it comes to the Destiny 2 community and the game. It's a love-hate relationship.
Halo fans, but 343 will need some kind of X factor if they want this game to hit mainstream again. As someone who adores Dead Space and Resident Evil,
I loved Halo. I love Halo. It has helped Halo is basically what revolutionized FPS games. If it weren't for Halo, I don't think we would have what we have today when it comes to FPS games.
4 2023 gave me more than I could have dreamed of. The RE4 remake.
Oh, yes. This was also a wonderful remake. I have nothing bad whatsoever to say about this remake. The two best remakes I have ever played in my entire life, one is the Dead Space remake and two is the Resident Evil 4 remake. They did a fantastic... the only negative thing I have to say is I don't like how they changed the Napoleon dude. I can't remember his name. That's the only gripe I have about it. They should have kept the look of the original guy instead of what they had in the remake. But other than that, I had a fantastic remake.
Did exactly what I wanted it to. RE4 was lightning captured in a bottle, impossible to replicate. And although I prefer some of the voice acting and dialogue in the original, this is as good as you can get to recapturing that same lightning. Leon was given a bounty of phenomenal one-liners to spout off constantly. They really dived into the campy nature of the game, and the combat was fucking amazing. The Mercenaries mode, incredible, and they recently released Separate Ways DLC. Now, if you'll excuse me, it's bingo night. We also got to finally see the Super Mario movie. It was so cool. Despite the jokes.
Honestly, I never really cared for the Super Mario's movie. It's just, I don't care to see it. I mean, if it's good, it's good, but I don't care.
We all made when all the voice actors were revealed. They did phenomenal jobs. And for what it was, I thought this was a great video game movie. Apparently so did a lot of people because it made like over $1 billion. If you're gonna keep making good movies, I'm gonna keep paying to see them. So let's get a Legend of Zelda film, shall we? Maybe? Jedi Survivor is another game on my backlog. Although I'm sure it's just as good, if not better than Fallen Order, Survivor was plagued by performance issues at release. I believe this was exclusively on PC because...
I actually, at some point, I probably will get this game because it looks like a good one to get. I didn't get it originally at first because of how many bugs and shit I heard about it having, so I thought it really wasn't worth getting, but as far as I'm aware, it's gotten much better, and I wanted to actually get this and give it a try because it does look like a really good game.
Was like nobody's computer was strong enough to run this game properly. Still, that only seemed to be a temporary setback, and let me just say, I love that this is the new style of Star Wars single-player games. Keep them coming. The reason Star Wars Jedi Survivor is on my backlog is because I spent time instead playing Redfall, a game so bad that not even the developers at Arcane wanted to make it. They thought it would be canceled. I don't know why it wasn't. The game featured brain-dead AI that predated the original Doom. Yes, the one from 1993. Graphics that failed to impress, and a general lack of fun, combat, things that make a video game feel like a video game. It all made Redfall one of the most boring.
I never knew about Redfall until I saw one of Asmongold's videos, of his reaction videos. I never knew about this fucking game. I never heard about it or anything. But from what I hear now, there's almost pretty much no good review on the game.
Boring titles I'd played this year.
No fun allowed. No fun allowed.
Redfall was a red fail, and much like Forspoken, most of its entertainment value came from making fun of the game. This is especially concerning if this is the type of first-party products that Xbox is going to push out there and market as Xbox exclusives. I mean, Redfall's presence on Steam is... I don't think any update is going to salvage this game. And in my review, I said, I think we should start making predictions on what's going to win worst game of the year. Well, ain't no point making predictions because, ladies and gentlemen, this year, it's Redfall.
Are you sure about that?
I never imagined that this clip would age poorly. Breath of the Wild is one of the best-selling video games of all time. So Nintendo saw that and was like...
Personally, I think there will be no Zelda game greater than Ocarina of Time. That's just me personally. I've heard a lot of good things about Tears of the Kingdom, though. I don't have anything Nintendo, so I can't play any Nintendo game.
Well, let's do that again. So they did. Tears of the Kingdom is pushing the hardware of the Switch to its absolute limits. And Nintendo continues to prove that creativity is more important than raw power. You just have to imagine what kind of games they could be making if they made a new Switch with the same level of power as the PS5 or Series X. Tears also continues the long-standing tradition of main Zelda games being universally loved by everyone. The new building and crafting mechanics were a great gimmick. It's kind of like a modern-day Majora's Mask in that its predecessor was so fucking good, they didn't need to build a new foundation or change much about it in the sequel. Just add some new bells, whistles, gimmicks, and critical acclaim awaits ye. I love when developers know what we want and love, and just opt to give us more of it, instead of trying to reinvent the wheel. So many good games came out this year, man. But The Lord of the Rings Gollum is not one of them.
Oh my god. Lord of the Rings Gollum. I have heard just nothing but bad. Not a single good review about this game, and we were supposed to get a good Gollum game, and they failed so fucking hard.
The Gollum game
Oh
was
my
so
God, it was
awful
horrible.
that the developers couldn't even spell the title right in their apology post. We would like to sincerely apologize for the underwhelming experience many of you have had with the Lord of Ring Gollum.
They forgot the S.
Lord of Ring. Do I need to say
The Lord
anything
of
more?
the
I mean,
Ring.
that
They
kinda
forgot the
sums
the
it up.
and the S.
Gollum was picked by many as the absolute worst game of this year, but it wasn't. The developers Daedalic canceled plans for a second Lord of the Rings game and shut down their development division. Probably the wise choice.
The only good Lord of the Rings game I ever played was the trilogy for, I believe it was the PS2. And Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War. Those are the only good Lord of the Rings games I've ever played. I tried the Lord of the Rings MMO. It was fucking trash. It was god fucking awful. But the trilogy from the PS2 and the two Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War, I believe they were wonderful.
2023 was filled with many long-awaited sequels, and 7 years after the last main entry, Street Fighter would make its triumphant return. I've never really been
particularly fond of fighting games. They're all right, but they're not really that fun to me. The only one I ever really cared about was either Tekken or Mortal Kombat. And I only played them a few times. I played Tekken back in the PS1 days. And I played Mortal Kombat, I think it was 9 or 10. I can't remember which. But yeah, it's just I don't really much care for fighting games. They're just not really that fun to me.
I've never been the biggest fan of traditional fighting games, but Street Fighter 6 was very addicting. Last time I played a new Street Fighter was 4, and I didn't have a fucking clue how to do any special moves. But rejoice, fellow noobs like me, for Capcom added a control scheme that makes the game accessible to degenerates like you and me. It also helps that the online mode seemed to work from day one, which you can't say about every fighter.
I can't say anything good about the online mode because there are so many people who just do one move over and over and over and over and over again. It's just like, dude, there are other buttons on the fucking controller. Do you know this? It's just those people are so fucking annoying. I tried playing Tekken online, and my God, it did nothing but piss me off.
Fighting game. Also, the fact that they let you create and fight with your own abomination is just perfection. I hope Street Fighter fans are happy with this one, because Diablo fans, on the other hand, do not seem happy with their long-awaited sequel, Diablo 4. As one.
Oh, I heard Diablo. I tried a little bit of Diablo 4. The only Diablo I really enjoyed playing, because I never got to try Diablo 2, was Diablo 3. I played it for a while, and then I haven't really been back to it because Diablo doesn't really keep my attention. But yeah, I heard that Diablo has just been really bad. I heard it's getting better with season 2, but I heard it's just been plagued with horrible shit.
One famous YouTube comment wrote, "Doesn't matter, you bought and supported Blizzard. You deserve a bad game." I must have been high on crack, methamphetamines, and PCP the day I bought D4, because some part of me felt like I would get to experience the same thrill and excitement I felt from the first 2 games. I completely forgot that Activision Blizzard these days only pumps out soulless factory line garbage, devoid of passion, life, and respect for its fanbase and franchises. Most of Blizzard's existing fanbase, I feel, are people like me who stick around in vain, desperately trying to relive the glory days. Those days are long gone, unfortunately. Diablo 4 was fun at first, but it quickly became apparent that the game was as wide as an ocean, deep as a puddle, designed more to exploit the player than to give them enjoyment worth $70. Every rotten tactic you can think of was used to artificially increase player retention, and these tactics don't work on me because the best tactic is to just make a fun video game. While franchises like Zelda, Pikmin, Street Fighter, and Dead Space can take 5+ years to release a new game, they make it worth it. They make it for the fans. Blizzard does not. And Diablo.
Yeah, I mean, there are plenty of games out there who have good gameplay, good controls, good storytelling, all this sort of stuff, and they also don't have a single iota of microtransactions, and they are still wildly successful, and they still make a lot of money. And yet there are companies out there who believe that the only way to make money is to put microtransactions in a game. Now, when it comes to free-to-play games, I understand microtransactions because, you know, they really have no other way to make money. Now, I don't mind microtransactions. I really don't. As long as it has nothing to do with pay to win or pay for convenience or anything like that. Make it so the only thing you can get is cosmetics that have no effect on the game whatsoever. If you can do that, I'm fine with it. It's fine. You want to make money that way, go ahead. But a lot of these microtransactions they have in the games are just so horrid. They give people an edge over everyone else, and it's like it makes people not want to play the game.
Is one of my 3 nominees for most disappointing game this year. By the Rings. A new Pikmin game? After an entire decade, the patience of Pikmin fans has paid off. For
I've never played any Pikmin games, so I have no idea what this game is about.
many years, Shigeru Miyamoto had been teasing us, even going as far back as 2015, when he said the game was nearly complete. That was 8 years ago, but I remember your famous quote, and the game is fantastic, so I'll let it slide. A lot of people speculated that Pikmin 4 was just going to be vaporware, something that they would talk about but never actually finish, and I'm glad they did. Hear ye, hear ye! The game of the year is here! Baldur's Gate 3 somehow managed to break into the top 20 games on...
Oh yeah, this game had a lot of other developers angry because they would say you shouldn't expect all games to be like this. So this Baldur's Gate 3 set a new standard for games and how they should be. And a lot of developers were angry with this because they immediately said you shouldn't expect games to be like this. Yeah, we should. And we do expect it. You guys just fucking suck and our predatory is all shit. You don't want to give us a good game. You just want to give us a half-decent game with microtransactions all to hell and just make money off of it. You would make more money if you made a good fucking game. You don't seem to understand this.
Metacritic of all time. That's no easy feat. Everything about this game is fantastic. It represents years and years of investment and talent from Larian Studios. While there is some discourse around whether or not people enjoy this style of turn-based gameplay, spoiler, I prefer Divinity Original Sin 2. But what I think everyone agrees on,
Karlach is best choice when it comes to romance. I will fight you on that.
is that the RPG mechanics in Baldur's Gate 3 are perfection. It's everything I've loved about like KOTOR, Dragon Age, Mass Effect.
I will also say this. I don't really care for D&D games. It's not for me. I played this for a little bit. It's a great game. Wonderful storytelling, wonderful acting and everything. I will still always say Karlach is best choice for romance.
Baldur's Gate 3 is going to be a landmark title for a long time, a benchmark that many others will try to hit, but very few will ever reach. Just 2 months after D4's release, Blizzard would continue their long streak of disappointing fans, overpromising features, not delivering them.
This I didn't understand. You know, Overwatch 2 is... Let's just look at this logically. It's a DLC. It's not a new game, it's a DLC. That's all it is. It's just Overwatch with the number 2 slapped on it, and it's just a DLC. It's not a new game. They could have easily just kept it as Overwatch and just put all this stuff here as a DLC. Like any other normal game. Because that's just all this is. It's not a new game, it's a DLC.
Oops, you fucked up again. I mean, Overwatch is always going to be fun. I can play it right now and have a good time, but lying about features, promoting this PvE mode that you never intended on finishing, using that to promote the game, it's just all the shit around Overwatch 2 just left a bad taste in my mouth. I mean, this really was one of the laziest sequels I'd ever seen. And I play Call of Duty, okay?
Again, it's not a sequel. It's not a new game. It's just a DLC.
Like most of Blizzard's recent games, Overwatch 2 released to overwhelming dislike. They scrapped the thing most people wanted, which was a PvE mode, a story, some semblance of a campaign. Now, allegedly, Overwatch 2 only came out because the higher-ups at Activision and Blizzard wanted to make the company appear more valuable as they awaited the merge.
If it came with a campaign and everything it promised, then yes, it would have been a sequel. But since it's just more PvP with more characters and new maps, it's just a giant DLC. That's all it is at this point.
Into Microsoft. I wouldn't be surprised if that was true. From Software also threw us a curveball, releasing Armored Core 6, Fires of
I played this for a little bit. This is really fucking fun.
Rubicon. I reckon I'm one of many who decided to try this game out simply on From Software's reputation after falling in love with their Souls games, and it's pretty good. Kind of reminded me of Custom Robo, the way you can change all your mech's weapons. It's a lot of fun. The only downside is the story's non-existent, but do I even care? Not really. I just want to shoot robots. Ladies and gentlemen, Overwatch 2 and Diablo 4 are two of the nominees for most disappointing game this year. But Starfield is the winner. Now, don't get me wrong, I think this
Starfield, oh, it promised the universe, but gave us nothing but a building.
Game offers a much better single-player experience than Diablo 4. There are times when I've had a lot of fun with it, but like Diablo 4, the longer I played, the more boring it became, which is kind of what you expect from most games. And the reason I think it's the most disappointing game is because people expected a lot from.
The only good thing I've heard about this game was the ship building. That's it. That's the only good thing I've ever heard about this game was the ship building. Everything else apparently is bad.
Bethesda. I didn't care for Fallout 76 or Fallout 4, so I've been waiting a long time to play another true Bethesda RPG. I don't think it's a bad video game, but it is quite mediocre, and it runs its course way quicker than any of the other Bethesda RPGs I've played. It was also very controversial. I mean, a lot of people love it, others really hate it. I think given all the time they had and the expectations around Bethesda games, it makes it the most disappointing. So much of what makes Bethesda RPGs magical was lost in the pursuit of procedurally generated planets and automated content. So many of Starfield's issues could have been fixed if it was just scaled down, if the scope was smaller, more focused, if we got more handmade, curated dungeons, if they found ways to cut out the tedious, overwhelming loading screens. Maybe Starfield will get better with updates, but as of right now, I'm not sure if I'll ever go back for a second playthrough. Payday 3. What a tragic tale. Well, I called this.
I've never played any of the Payday games, but I've heard good things about Payday 1 and 2. I haven't heard anything about the third one.
This game a certified banger that was based on a version that me and other content creators got to play. It was not the version released to the public, which made me and other content creators look like we were shilling a broken game when none of us knew that's how the game would launch. I'd like to squash the rumors that I did some kind of paid review in this video. I didn't play the full game, so I didn't make a review. It's also unethical to do sponsored reviews. This is the only thing they told us to do. Raise awareness for the launch of Payday 3. That's it. So I could make whatever video I wanted about it, and that's the video I decided to make. And that's how I felt about Payday 3 at the time. So yeah, this video was not a review. It was first impressions. My big mistake was not putting in a big enough disclaimer near the start that said, hey, this may not be representative of what the full game is like at release. And for that, I apologize. Payday 3 was broken, even in the public early access beta, which, by the way, the beta came out like 10 days before launch. And as a newcomer to the series, I wasn't aware of the many downgrades from Payday 2. In a baffling decision, Starbreeze elected to make the game online only, which becomes a big fucking problem if your servers don't work. Overall, Payday 3 was a massive disappointment for everyone involved, myself included, and I wish they had delayed it or been honest with us about the state it would release in. We'll see what happens, but
the game looks like a lot of fun. I mean, I would like to try Payday 2, but I don't think I'll try Payday 3 until I start hearing more good things about it.
For now, you're probably better off playing Payday 2. CD Projekt Red has spent years and a reported $62 million.
I haven't fully played through this. I don't think I've played even through 5% of the campaign. But from what I have played, I've actually enjoyed Cyberpunk. This is a good game. And when it first came out, it was bugged all to fucking hell. But after a while, they fixed a lot of the shit, and it's actually a pretty good game. I actually enjoy it. I do need to actually play through the entire thing, but I do enjoy Cyberpunk 2077. I think it is a wonderful game.
Budget to repair their...
I also think it is actually very probable to have a future like this for humanity. It's very probable. It might not actually happen, but it is probable.
Image and that of Cyberpunk. From the sounds of it, they have succeeded. In the eyes of many, they've completed their redemption arc with Phantom Liberty, and it appears the DLC is an improvement to the base game in virtually every category. I'll make a video about it someday and bring back Johnny Acting Hand. If you thought Gollum game was bad, Skull Island Rise of Kong is here to shatter your concept of reality. The budget for this game apparently was $3, and it clearly shows. I don't know what's more impressive, that this game launched on every platform, or that they're charging $40 for this pig slop. Apparently Rise of...
This looks like a game you'd play back in like the PS2 days.
Kong had a rush development, and the developers were forced to crunch? What the fuck for? What was the rush? Who was desperately awaiting this game?
Yeah, this is like PS1, PS2 era fucking game. I mean, what the hell? This looks just god awful. I mean, for a budget of $3, yeah, that was so dumb.
They didn't even finish the cutscenes. What did you think was gonna happen when you launched the game like this? Rise of Kong is doubly bad because it's not nearly as cringe and funny as Forspoken and Redfall. You can only tell one joke about this game. Wow, it really sucks. It still amazes me sometimes that Nintendo continues to innovate the Mario franchise even after almost 40 years of games. Wonder is a fine addition to the series. It's like playing a regular Mario Bros game, but on acid. A lot of fun. Another year, another Call of Duty. Modern Warfare 3, however, broke new ground by becoming the lowest rated game in a series that produced Vanguard and Ghosts. Luckily, the multiplayer has a strong...
The campaign for Ghost I actually liked. I'm sad that they didn't make a second one considering how the first one ended. I would have loved to see how the storyline for Ghost would have gone, but sadly they didn't continue it. I actually enjoyed it. I haven't played Vanguard. I've played the campaign for the first and second Modern Warfare. I haven't played the third one. I'm not going to buy the third one. I find it a waste of money. I don't really care. For me personally, I think when it came to modern or Call of Duty multiplayer, its absolute peak was Modern Warfare 2. Black Ops 2 and Modern Warfare 3 were also good, but its absolute peak, in my opinion, was Modern Warfare 2. The Modern Warfare 2 we have now, I'm sorry, it doesn't come close to the Modern Warfare 2 of back then. It doesn't. I don't think they'll ever get back to its heyday. I really don't think they will.
Appeal to hardcore.
At this point, they're just pumping out a Call of Duty just to pump out a Call of Duty every year. That's all they're doing. They're not taking time to make an actual good Call of Duty game. People are still going to play it no matter what, and they're going to still complain about it no matter what. But at this point, they're just pumping out a Call of Duty for the sake of pumping out a Call of Duty. That's all they're doing. That's all I see that they're doing. They don't truly... I don't think the publishers truly care. I can't really say the developers don't really care because they don't really have much control. But at this point, I don't think the studio really cares. They've just lost the plot.
And casual fans. Sledgehammer are updating it constantly and doing their best to make fans happy. We're not going to talk about
the absolute best part of a campaign from Call of Duty was from Modern Warfare 2 called No Russian. That was the best part of any part of a campaign from any Call of Duty. It was no Russian. I don't know many people who would disagree with me on that.
About the campaign though, not only did we get a trailer for a 1,000-Year Door remake, I'm so happy, but Super Mario RPG also got a remake. Truly a blessed year for Mario fans.
I really do need to get a Nintendo system because I would actually like to play a lot of these Mario games. I liked Mario back when I played it. The first game I ever played was the Mario Duck Hunt combination for the NES. Back in the, I think it was 96 or 97 when I first played it.
This year, Rockstar officially announced GTA 6 and put out a trailer that gained more views in a matter of days than the GTA 5 trailer did in a decade. You don't have to be Nostradamus to predict that GTA 6 is going to have the biggest video game launch of all time. And I'm excited to see what Rockstar has been cooking.
You gotta wonder how big their map is gonna be. I know one of the rumors for the map is that they wanted to make it so you can travel across the entire continental United States. I think that would take probably well over a decade, if not more than a decade, maybe 15 years to make, just the sheer scope of generating everything that's in the United States. But I know that was some rumors. I don't think it'll ever be true, but let's see how big the map is going to be for 6, and let's hope they don't make it a flop.
For the last however many years. And this happens every time with a new GTA. You already know 6 is going to spark the most annoying discourse you've ever heard around a video game. Last but certainly most least, 2023 ended with one of the worst video games ever made. The Day Before, one of the most brazen scam rug pulls the industry has ever seen. Every time we've thought video games had hit a new low, another studio came out this year to dig.
Yes. See, I played The Division 2. I think it's a good game. It's not a great game. It's not a bad game. It's just a good game. I would have loved to have a good Division 2 type game with zombies like this. But this just came out as absolute trash. They failed at this so fucking hard.
The hole deeper, and Fantastic has hit bedrock. We cannot get any lower, any worse than this. The studio shut down 4 days after the game released, and Steam has taken the unprecedented move of automatically refunding everyone who purchased it. To my knowledge, they have never done that before. The Day Before rightfully earns worst game of 2023. But in their brutality, the gods of gaming demanded one final sacrifice. The Electronic Entertainment Expo has been canceled permanently. This is really sad. I never got to go to E3 in person. It was like the Super Bowl for gamers, you know? A celebration of everything awesome we love about this hobby. So many iconic hype as fuck moments happened during these shows. So many incredible game reveals and trailers. All good things must come to an end, and after more than 25 years, E3 has been retired for good, partly due to COVID knock end, and after more than 2
decades of E3, each one bigger than the last, the time has come to say goodbye. Thanks for the memories. Well, damn.
5 years, E3 has been retired for good, partly due to COVID knocking things off track and all these studios wanting to have their own press release on their own terms. I understand why E3 was canceled. Doesn't make it any better though. But I'd hate to end this year on such a sour note. 2023 may have been one of the best years in gaming. Honestly, I'd say it's gotta be in the top 3. It was a year of extremes. We saw the best and the absolute worst that this industry is capable of. I'm excited for 2024, but I doubt we're gonna see as many exciting games. I just want to take a moment to thank you all for supporting the channel, continuing to watch, hitting that like button and that subscribe and the notification bell. Nah, but on the real, 2023 has been amazing. I've got a ton of great ideas moving into 2024, and I'm excited and thankful to have an audience as awesome and dedicated as you guys. Thank you for all the support.
Yeah, I would have to agree. I'd say last year had a lot of absolute wonderful games, and it had a lot of horrible games, but it had a lot of wonderful games. My favorite ones were the 2 remakes, Dead Space and Resident Evil 4. But there are still a few other games from that year that I have to try out. I think I'd like to try Hi-Fi because that looked pretty good. But yeah, they're and The Last of Us as well. I want to try that out. I think part 1 is on Steam right now, and I think I have it on my wish list. So I'd like to give that a try. But I hope you all enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think in the comments below about the best and worst games of 2023. If there are any other videos you'd like to see me react to, please make sure to comment them down below or over on my Discord page. I do have a channel over on Twitch that I stream to every Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturdays at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. I would love to see you all over there, so head on over to my Twitch and give me a follow. And enjoy enjoy hanging out with me over on my stream. I hope you all, links to everything will be in the description below. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.